Hey, it's Michael Saul with the Stock Market Trading Watch List for Monday, September 12, 2011. SPY video is up on the blog, but real quick, Friday we held the 62% retracement of this swing and the 78.6% retracement of the week's range. Okay, if we continue lower, and right now as I'm doing this at 11:07 p.m., if we continue lower on Monday, then we have to watch this 113.11 to 112.59 zone. If we trade through that with breadth, with volume, confirming, then we should, at a minimum, test this low, if not go to 108.84 as a first stopping point. Okay, I believe that we get a bounce here before we get smacked down. I am still bearish longer term. I just think that we will get a bounce before we get cracked again. All right. I'm reading a lot of negative sentiment out there this weekend. I mean, just tons of it. How we're finished, how Europe is finished. I mean, if Greece defaults, it's going to be bad. All right. It's going to be bad for the German banks, for the French banks, for other countries in Europe that are on the balls of their behind. Okay. And that shouldn't really snicker at it. I'm just snickering at the way I said it. It's going to be ugly over there. But all is not lost as of yet. Okay? I know a lot of people are predicting a doomsday, and everybody's saying that it has to happen. And that makes me think that it may not happen, or if it does happen, it's containable enough that it doesn't do serious damage. Now, I may just be sitting here with this Pollyannish view of, oh, everything's going to be all right. And I'm sorry, but if you've been listening to me over the past several weeks, you know that I'm pretty bearish here. I just don't like pointing to all the different, everybody can see why we're ugly reasons. Okay, or why we're going to go down reasons. Okay, why we're so ugly out there. All right, to me, we went into a bear market when we broke this 200-day moving average and stayed below it. This action has all been corrective. Volume has been light. The bigger days, even in the correction, have been on the down days, with the exception of a few high volume up days. Okay, and of course, the biggest volume so far this year was on this big reversal here. But overall, this looks like a corrective pattern. It looks like we have at least another 20% down if we're going to use this as a midway point, and bear flags often mark the midway points between the move. Okay, but I don't know if it's going to be as easy as Greece defaults, we get murdered. Okay, I mean, maybe it does. I think that it's going to be a number of things, and I think that even if Greece somehow gets bailed out, I still think we're going lower. All right, so I'm going to be watching a bounce, and if I'm wrong, if the volume comes in, if the breadth comes wrong, I will have no hesitation to change my opinion and think we're going to go down without the bounce. All right, there's no way I'm locked into stone on that. But if we do get a bounce up here and it's lame volume like we saw, okay, look at this volume bar, and this is the SPY. I mean, the New York volume was also low that day, but not as bad of a divergence, or of a not as bad as what we saw here, right? But if we can get a nice crappy bounce, preferably into the 50-day, don't know if we'll make it there. Okay, a nice reversal there. I think it will offer an excellent opportunity for the start of the next push down. All right, so the indexes are going to look alike. Whoops, got to spell them right first. Okay, the NASDAQ 100 showing better relative strength, but still not acting that well. The Russell, okay, I didn't put the fib grid on yet, but we could run it here. We could see if we take out last week's lows, suggest at least a retest to there. Okay, let's take a look at the Dow. It's similar to the S&P. Look at some indexes. Semiconductors, I mean, I guess you could call it a base, but I don't know. The banks, just ugliness here. Look at the brokers already trying to break down. You see Goldman here, new lows. Looks like it's going to go to double digits for the first time in quite a while here. Back in, was it 08? No, beginning of 09. Not that far back. Only a couple years. All right, let's look at some the commodity-based stuff. Here's gold. All right, gold's trying to put in some sort of pattern here. Move something like this. Silver. Still not in a rush to go anywhere fast. Clean this chart up. Okay. Can take some trend lines here. There you go. We'll look at a breakout. It's above the moving averages. See OIH. Looks ugly. USO. Looks like a bear flag, right? Oil. Looks like a bear flag. And with the dollar flying, okay, the dollar's been strong. It's bearish for commodities. Okay, the UUP broke the 200-day for the first time in over a year. About a year. Right? Yeah, about a year. All right, let's look at some of the foreign ETFs. Here's the EWG, which is Germany. Okay, take a fib grid. See next target 1614-ish. I don't have these exactly lined up. It's close enough. We don't use exact numbers. We just use the range. Here's Austria. EWO. Okay. Here's France. EWQ. Sitting right at support here. All right, there's a little right shoulder from this inverted head and shoulders. It loses that. Suggests we could take a full retracement down here. But you can run Fibonacci grids on them as well. Here's Spain. Okay, you got this low here at 29.85 to watch. That breaks. Could get a full retest down. Okay, so a lot of these countries are just looking horrendous. Here's Japan. All right, basically at lows. Watch for this to trade down here to this little level down here in the 7s. All right, let's look at some of the glamour stocks. Apple. Okay, one of the stronger performing stocks here as of late. Now we have to get a nice, there we go, a nice new pattern here for Apple. Some coil. Watch for it to break one way or the other. Google. Still acting like crap. Still think it's acting like crap and could be one of the downside leaders when we do get the next push down. One to watch. Amazon doing okay. Price line above the moving averages except for the 10. Netflix, just tried but could not get over that 200 again. Watch this one. This one could get some nice downside here. All right. UNP, Union Pacific. Alright, gotta get rid of this stuff. This is from the old watch list. This was actually a winning trade, though, so that's good. This is when I used to put the triggers and stuff on it, which I'll be doing again soon when I roll out the new newsletter, which is coming the next week or so. I'll talk to everybody about it, of course. Okay, here's Union Pacific. So break below here, below the 84s. And this could retrace back to the top of this range down here. Quick 6-point move, maybe. A 5.5-point move down here to the mid 78s. All right, we already looked at Goldman. Let's look at Research in Motion. Yeah, had a little bout of strength, but right now acting a little weak here. Holding the 20, but if it loses it, watch for a quick retest of the 50-day. U.S. Steel. Oh, somebody wanted me to look at Baidu and the credit cards. Okay, so U.S. Steel could be forming a range here. Look at Visa. Yeah, I mean, has some relative strength, but it's just an ugly pattern. So it's showing that it's outperforming the market. But I mean, look at this. Nice pop to a new high on MasterCard, but look at this dump. 14 3/4 points, basically, more, because that's what traded after hours. But regular hours trade over 15 points down. All right, so that's American Express. Yeah, I don't see a pattern there. And Baidu. I mean, yeah, not showing bad relative strength because it's above the moving averages, but it's not like it's at its highs here. So this isn't exactly a great-looking chart either. All right, so let's see what shakes out on Monday. See if we get the bounce that I'm looking at, or looking for, rather, and take it from there. I still think that if we do get a bounce, we do get a weak rally, I think it's going to offer some nice shorting opportunities. All right, talk to everybody again on Tuesday. Have a great trading day Monday.